Okay, so where to begin with this? A while back, I did a video for Horizon Zero Dawn where I talked about my history with the game and how I never fully understood why the game was so loved. I won't rehash that video much. If you want to watch it, it will be linked at the end of this video. Long story short, after replaying it, I really enjoyed it, but the game wasn't without its own issues. Within that same video, I also gave my first impressions of Horizon Forbidden West, where I stated that the game was a vast improvement over Zero Dawn and I was really looking forward to what the game had to offer. I still stand by that, mostly. Having now completed Forbidden West and gotten the Platinum Trophy for it, I've realized that Forbidden West is like eating a large pizza with all the toppings and stuffed crusts in one sitting. By yourself. By the time you get to the end of it, you're exhausted and you're ready to be done, but at the same time, the experience was a memorable one. Horizon Forbidden West expands its lore and story tenfold in a lot of ways. It's hard to believe that the series went from how it started to how it is now. Elements of the gameplay have been improved upon as well, but at the same time, there were things that were added that didn't fully make a whole lot of sense to me. My biggest issue with Zero Dawn was its open world. It was really big with almost too much to do in it, and Forbidden West doubles down on that. But this time around, it felt a lot better, even though there was still a lot to do on the map and the map being very cluttered. Hello everyone, my name is Brent, and this is my spoiler-free review of Horizon Forbidden West. Let's begin with the story, and once again, this is spoiler-free. Forbidden West continues Aloy's story as she ventures into the titular Forbidden West in hopes of rebooting Zero Dawn's Gaia AI as a means to help cure a plague that is infecting the plant life and water supplies and in turn causing people to starve. During her travels, she is joined by new and old friends who aid her in her journey. The story to this game is awesome, albeit a little off the rails at some points, but it does so in the best ways possible. As I mentioned in the intro, Forbidden West expands its base story and lore in a way that is off the charts, and I often forget that Aloy, who is now a renowned hero, started off as an unliked outcast within her own tribe. I don't really have anything bad to say about the story because I really like grandiose, epic adventure type stories. The only thing that I recommend is that you pay attention when playing this game, because there's a lot of info to take in when talking to the main characters throughout the game, and it is something that you should do, or else certain important tidbits can and will be missed. To be honest, I'm glad that I played Zero Dawn and Forbidden West back to back. With how lore heavy both games are, I could have potentially forgotten about everything that's going on if I had played Zero Dawn when it had originally come out. All in all, Forbidden West's story gets a bit wonky at some points, but it's filled with epically insane moments that make up for all of it. Let's talk about the gameplay. There's a lot of hit or miss elements in the gameplay in Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm going to try to break it down as easy as I can. I feel like I should first talk about the accessibility options within this game, because I'll be mentioning it a couple times during this review. Guerrilla Games put in several options to allow any given player the ability to optimize their gameplay experience. You can adjust the level of difficulty to make it as hard or as easy as you wish, along with the customization option where you can mix and match all of your preferences. For example, you can make enemies incredibly difficult to take down by cranking them up to hard, but at the same time you can bring Aloy's health down to story mode, making it difficult to have her killed. You can also set it to where you can easily loot components from machines so that way you don't have to struggle with shooting off all the right parts from their bodies. I would frequently mess with these settings throughout my time playing Forbidden West depending on what kind of gameplay session I wanted to have at any given time, which made playing this game incredibly enjoyable because I could game the way that I wanted to game whenever I wanted. Moving on to the combat. Combat in Forbidden West is intense and it can be very over the top sometimes, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. The machines in Forbidden West are incredibly fast and they hit fairly hard, and most machines can only be taken down by hitting them in their weak spots, and this is all on normal difficulty. I enjoyed this increase in difficulty a lot during the first half of the game, but as the story progressed and the machines you have to face get bigger, faster, and stronger, it started to feel a little extra, and I often found myself dreading some of those big boss fights and machine encounters. The theme of this game being extra in some spots will come up several more times in this video. This is why those accessibility options were so awesome. After a long day of work, sometimes I just wanted to sit down and play a video game, and I just wanted to have some fun and not get tossed around like a rag doll by a machine. So I'd lower the difficulty level to story mode so I can just enjoy what was happening in the game and feel powerful at the same time. Then on the flip side, when I was in the mood for more of a challenge, I would turn the difficulty back up. This made the combat so much more fun and more balanced at times when I was in either stressful or unstressful situations. Moving on, you know how I mentioned that this game was being extra in certain parts would come up again? Well, we're going to talk about the gameplay elements in Forbidden West that I felt were a little extra. The first being the food system. This addition was odd. In Zero Dawn, there was no food system. If you were low on health, you would either use a potion or medicinal herbs to heal yourself. However, in Forbidden West, you can find cooks in several of the major cities and settlements who will cook up food for you that will heal you, increase your health for a short period of time, along with other buffs, so long as you have all the ingredients to make the food that you want. In theory, there's nothing wrong with an in-game food mechanic, but the problem with this particular mechanic is that it's completely unnecessary and you can go the whole game without using it. Personally, I feel like food mechanics should be in games where there's a survival element within said game, and if you don't eat, there's consequences. There's zero consequences if you don't eat cooked food in Forbidden West. The next part in Forbidden West that I felt was a little extra was the gathering and upgrading system. In Zero Dawn, upgrading your weapons felt fairly simple and it could be easily done. All you usually needed was a lot of shards and a few other machine parts, and you were done with an upgrade. In Forbidden West, however, doing a single upgrade for a single weapon felt like a mission in of itself that could take you several hours to complete, especially if you don't have machines set up to be easily farmed. You need copious amounts of shards along with several different machine parts whose rarities depend on the type of weapon and the upgrade rank. By the time I reached the end of the game, hardly any of my orange weapons had reached rank 2 or 3, whereas in Zero Dawn, I had everything fully upgraded. The reason why I feel like this was incredibly extra is because you could be hopping around the entire map in order to find certain parts for a single upgrade. Look, I get it. These are probably just personal gripes, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about is definitely a gripe. But I still viewed it as being extra, and that is the exploration. There's a lot of places to explore in Forbidden West, and when I say that there is a lot of places to explore in Forbidden West, there are a lot of places to explore in Forbidden West. There's tons of ancient ruins, secret caves and crevices, and the typical cauldrons. Don't get me wrong, I love exploring in games, but I also want to be rewarded for exploring those areas, and in the first half of the game, the exploration was rewarding, but by the time you get to the second half of the game, it really isn't necessary because you're finding everything that you need on the map. The cauldrons also felt a bit extra when exploring them. In Zero Dawn, you go into a cauldron, solve a puzzle or two to get to the boss room, fight the boss, get your overrides, and then you're done. In Forbidden West, you go into a cauldron, solve a puzzle, fight the boss, and then getting out can be a puzzle sometimes. Some of them were really fun though. There was one in particular cauldron, which was actually one of my favorite moments in the game. I won't mention it to avoid spoilers, but most of the cauldrons you could spend over an hour in, and by the time you're out of it, you're just begging to be done. Now that my gripes are out of the way, let's talk about something that's more positive, and that's the general presentation of the game. This game is gorgeous. The scenery is beautiful and full of color, and the level of detail that has gone into the characters and their facial animations are incredible. When I played the PS5 upgrade for Zero Dawn, I thought it was the best looking game on the PS5 thus far, but Forbidden West completely blows it out of the water. This game is filled with cutscenes that I was always looking forward to simply for the amount of detail that went into making them. The voice acting and performances are amazing in Forbidden West, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that a good chunk of it was done with motion capture. With all that being said, as it stands, Forbidden West is the best looking game on the PS5 so far. Now let's talk about the trophies. Normally when I platinum a game, I will give a few tips on how to get the platinum, but with Forbidden West, it's pretty straightforward and can all be done with relative ease. What I can offer is a few tips on how to have the narrative make more sense by the time you get to the end of the game, and these tips come with several trophies as well. Also, the following tips could contain what some might consider to be a spoiler, but there really isn't anything here. As the side missions unlock for the characters in your base, do them. These side quests add more context and world building. Furthermore, complete all enemy encampments, because these are all associated with a quest from someone inside your base. The training pits suck, so set these to easy and breeze through them. A good chunk of people have had difficulty with these. You'll be faced with an interesting decision during the game, and I recommend going with the more positive logical choice. You'll be rewarded with some cool cutscenes. Finally, make sure that you scan the special enemies in the final mission because they can only be scanned there, and if you die, you have to scan them again. If you miss these, you'll be locked out of a trophy. That's pretty much it as far as tips go for you on how you should do a few things within the game to make the narrative flow smoother and how to get the platinum trophy. Anyways, let's wrap things up. Horizon Forbidden West is an over-the-top, grandiose action-adventure game that expands on the story, characters, and lore that was established in Zero Dawn. Although the story goes off the rails at certain points in the game, it does so in a way that makes sense. By the end of the game, you'll probably be asking yourself, what the hell is going on here? Even though the game has some stuff that makes it feel bloated and extra, the stuff within the game that feels good overshadows the bad. If you're looking for a game that allows you to play the way that you want to play, then this game is definitely worth looking into. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in for my review for Horizon Forbidden West, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos just like it. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.